right? Framing the problem. Does anyone want to take me through how they framed the problem for either the Hult Prize or for ProtoHack? How you got down to defining the problem? Because how you define the problem will have an incredible amount of influence on the solution that you come up with. So what is a case? But it's a framing of a problem, right? When you are being asked to analyze a Harvard Business School case in class, right? The authors of those cases present a tremendous amount of data to you, okay? And you're asked to come back by your professor and analyze that data and to come back with recommendations, right? You have a tremendous amount of room to interpret how you frame those problems in those cases before you come back and actually decide how you're going to answer the questions, okay? When I worked at McKinsey for many years, the very hardest thing we would do would be to frame the problem. Because we would go work with these huge companies with these hugely messy problems. And the single most important thing we would do would be to frame the problem. Because once you frame the problem clearly, you had the boundaries that allowed you to decide how you could come up with a solution, okay? So there was a great quote by a guy named Abraham Lincoln. Some of you may have heard of him, which is, if I had 8 hours to chop down a tree, I would spend 7 hours sharpening the axe, okay? Makes sense? Yeah. This is where you sharpen the axe, or you're going to spend a lot of time working on something that's unbounded and almost impossible to solve. So what I'm going to ask you to do tonight is, when you think about that customer journey that you're taking, or user journey, student journey, investor journey, college administrator journey, whatever persona you decide, you can't solve the entire journey tonight. Think about 1 or 2 of the key touch points that are going to be the most challenging part of that journey, that you need to make sure those experiences are positive ones in order for these users to stay with you, right? How many of you have downloaded an app, tried it once and checked out, never to use it again, right? So you understand why you haven't used it again? They haven't anticipated what you need. They haven't thought backward from what was important to you. They haven't been able to give you the ability to see the importance of that solution in your life, and very quickly you would trip, right? We all know how limited people's attention spans are. So that's what I want you to start to think about. What would cause you to walk away from this awesome idea, never to come back again, even though that idea is very promising? Okay? All right. So as you move into your groups, I want you to keep asking each other the question, how might we? Okay? How might we convince investors to invest in the education of people that are not family members or friends? How might we find an opportunity with more early adopter, innovative colleges to make inventory of their seats available to outsiders that are not members of the university? How might we convince educators from prestigious schools to offer their courses online to the masses in a way that's affordable, right? How might we do that in a way that means something to our stakeholders, to our personas, okay? So tonight, we do not have the normal tools of design thinking. The normal tools of design thinking are Post-it notes. Quantities and quantities of Post-it notes. You're going to use eraser boards tonight. We just don't have the ability to go through the kind of logistics that we would normally go through. But we're going to ask you to really be very visual from the very, very beginning as you start to map out the customer experiences, okay? Now, most of you have not been to ProtoHack. When the people from ProtoHack, which of the tools did you guys use? Did you use ProtoIS? Did you use Envision? What were some of the tools that you guys used?
I don't remember the name of the app because it was the girl from tablet was using, but I think it was Bubble.
You used Bubble. Okay, Devon, what did you use?
ProtoIO.
Okay, ProtoIO. Any other people? How many people have familiarity with any of these tools? Okay. Okay, Bob, what tools have you used?
Envision app.
You've used Envision as well. Okay. So, have some of you heard of these tools before? Okay. These tools are all free. Some of them are free for 30 days. Some of them are free forever. Okay. These tools are extremely simple mobile and web apps that are there to enable you to build prototypes. It's not our job to mandate which ones you use. You're going to have some very experienced mentors in the room, like Ford Hughes, who I'll introduce, okay, like Bhavna, who as they come around and sit with you can recommend the tool that might be the one that you want to use, okay? But recognize that every one of these tools is available on the web. At least for the next 30 days, you can use these tools for free. Ford, do you have a favorite?
No, I think my favorite is the one that you spend the least time learning.
Okay, that's great.
And I have a question, excuse me.
Yes.
Having you repeat yourself. Is there a required format for the result?
There's really not. I don't want to put any boundaries on it because the teams are starting from very different starting points in terms of their understanding. Some have been through ProtoHack, some have never done this before. It should be digital because the cost of entry to pitch is to upload at least a very low def prototype onto the OpenIDEO website tonight at 8:30. Okay? So I'm going to leave it to the teams and to the mentors, and I'm going to describe the backgrounds of the mentors in a moment so you'll know who you'll be sitting with tonight, okay? But these are different options, right? And so you have to understand there are hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of these tools that have proliferated tonight, okay? In this room, the quality of these slides in this light is terrible, okay? But what you're seeing is the app that Bhavna described, right? This is Envision. And in this, it's kind of a low-def prototype. You're seeing a bunch of screenshots that have been designed for the app. Okay, you start to get to a more high-fidelity, more sophisticated prototype. I'm going to skip through these because they're just too hard to read. Okay. Some of you who might want to use more advanced prototyping tools because you've done this before, moderate complexity tools like Picth and Framer are also available free to download. Anybody feel like they're at that level where they can use more sophisticated tools that you can actually, yeah? Fred? Yeah? So give me an example of what you've used before.
No, it's not like that, but
okay.
I'm familiar with the design interface, so Photoshop, Illustrator, all of that.
Okay. So we don't want to limit your creativity. We don't want to tell you what you need to create, and we also don't want to tell you what tools you're going to use. We're going to leave it up to the teams to do that. Okay? All right. So let's talk about what we're going to do tonight. Okay? We care about making education affordable for everyone. Okay? Talked about these numbers. 10% of those people that want to go to college can afford it today. It's ridiculous. Okay? Bachelor's degrees drive people into a completely different economic realm. Top fifth of all earners in the world. Okay? Now, you have voted on the platform. Distribution of ideas. 35 of you look like you want to work on invest for return. 13 out of you in total, right? A direct investment in someone's education where the proceeds of their earnings are shared over time. The second one is Project Ed. 6 of you have decided that's your top choice. Crowdfunding plus corporate social responsibility investments to allow first-generation students to attend college. First gen to fund college-based crowd sharing. 5 of you have come back. Okay? And then 3 of them came in with 4 votes each. EmptyDesks.com, that Daniela mentioned. EmptyDesk.com is a clearinghouse that allows people to sit in empty desks in classes that are not full, so that students can go in at greatly discounted rates compared to the published tuition. MOOCs to membership. A MOOC is a massive open online course. If you've ever taken a course on Coursera or edX or StanfordX or MITx, you'll know what a MOOC is. The MOOC is basically being designed here to move people away from having to pay expensive tuition rates at colleges and to get their degree completely online, right? So if you go to Coursera today, for example, Coursera will educate you on virtually anything you can imagine for free. If you want to get a certificate to prove that you've completed the course, you paid them $49, and you will get a certificate of completion. Udacity, which is another MOOC based in Silicon Valley, led by a former Google ex-lab manager, is now claiming that they can educate millions of people to write software. Okay? So there's some really fascinating platforms that have evolved over the last couple of years that are free of charge or extremely inexpensive to give people very important career skills. Okay? And something as simple as long-term education insurance. Can you create an insurance product that is going to allow an insurance company to make money, but at the same time allow a family to collect on that insurance when their child turns 18 or 17 years old and is ready to go to university. Okay, so there's a wide range of different ideas that have been put up, and this is how you guys have voted, okay? All right. So, last words of advice before we send you off and I introduce the mentors, okay? If everything is important, then nothing is important. You need to figure out what is important to your stakeholder, right? What is the one or two things that really matters that's going to bring them into your community, okay? It's not about making things beautiful, it's about making them accessible, giving your user what they want before they leave your platform or your app, okay? Users want data. They want to get at that data quickly. Give them access to what they want without any unnecessary steps, right? No interactions that are not required. And you want the interface to almost melt away into the background where they're not even thinking about the interface. They see what they want and they can touch it and access it. Simple, okay? So you're going to go off. What's going to happen? I'm going to bring Beatrice and Fleury up in a minute to talk about logistics. We're going to feed you, and then you're going to go off and you're going to register and you're going to go off in your teams. So with that, I want you to remember this, right? Next time you're in a room full of people doing something dumb, like trying to, just speculate, open up and start prototyping. You need to lay hands on keyboard tonight, okay? Once you get in your rooms, less talk, more prototyping, okay? Let's see what you guys, I'm sure this, by the way, two things. This is the first time OpenIDEO has ever done this before, okay? We're trying to take these ideas and make them real. This is not theoretical. Right? So there's going to be two things that are going to happen that are different than ever before. One is we're going to upload these prototypes to the platform. The originators of these ideas are going to use these as a way to bring their ideas into the market and to begin to get them validated. The top 5 teams, we're going to do everything we can to put them through accelerator programs like Startup Next and Techstars and Learn Launch, so that we really see these changes being made. So for those of you who want to see, become a part of these teams as they evolve, as they become real startups, and you want to get involved, please let me know, because I'll be involved in that process. This is the first time we're bringing it all the way to the finish line. So I want to thank the Entrepreneurship Club, especially thank Beatrice and Fleury, who worked with me over the holiday when everybody else was out, to make this event happen and to work on very short notice. So thank you very much, guys.